like, share, subscribe, and comment.
Hello and welcome. This is another of our election videos, and this time we're focusing on Louise Kingston MLC, who is an independent candidate for the upper house in the coming WA election. We've also been talking about the how to vote process because there have been changes in the way voting is done in Western Australia. Our viewers include people from America who are unfamiliar with our system, as well as people that may not have seen our work before and who are engaging with our content regarding candidates and issues relating to the WA election, which is on the 8th of March 2025. So in this video, we're also going to focus on below the line voting so that we can make this more clear for our viewers. Only 2 or 3% of votes are conducted below the line. I was quite surprised to find this because I've always just voted below the line, thinking that was the way most people did it. Below the line voting is very good if you know the candidates and if you also want to be very specific about directing your voting preferences. And this is something that I like to do. You might say that it's control freaks who really love to be able to dictate their exact vote. The Honourable Louise Kingston MLC is an independent candidate for the upper house in the upcoming WA state election. She's already sitting in the parliament, so she has a track record. Louise was one of the first WA politicians to tackle the Labor government about the firearms bill and how ridiculous the laws are to navigate for law-abiding firearms owners. It was brought to my attention as the convener of the HIV Consumer Alliance of WA that a drug dealer at the Wellington Street housing complex had an illegal firearm in a bag, and I shared this information with Louise and she was not surprised. And Louise said that methamphetamine addiction is a growing concern in Western Australia, with an alarming number of addicts found in possession of firearms. This highlights that the new WA firearm bill seems to be missing the mark, targeting law-abiding citizens instead of addressing the real issue. It's time for legislation that focuses on the root of the problem and ensures our communities are safe from both drug abuse and gun violence. The methamphetamine crisis is prevalent right across the state, and the manpower that is required to deal with these individuals requires more than WA Police has ever been faced with. As we've proved in previous videos, this has impacts in terms of crime, robberies, and domestic violence. We need to speak to the officers on the front line who are dealing with this every day and take their recommendations to get this drug off the streets. It's really important that there be consultation with grassroots organisations such as the HIV Consumer Alliance of WA, who have experience advocating for their members dealing with this issue. It's also important for government departments to start listening to the concerns of tenants in public housing who have raised concerns about drug dealing and out of control meth usage in public housing, and this is a big issue for police who have to attend and deal with the consequences of the crime and drug mismanagement. The meth crises and the illegal guns and the knife crime and all of these issues are a huge problem that directly affects all of our communities, and there needs to be direct funding to deal with this serious issue. For real consultation that supports our frontline workers and communities with solutions to tackle these issues, vote 1, the Honourable Louise Kingston MLC for the upper house. So how do you do that? Louise Kingston is listed on the ballot in Group M, which is the independents for the upper house, and you can vote 1 for them above the line. There's a website, www.voteindependentwa.com, for more information. The Legislative Council this election, these are the parties and the individuals who have nominated for the election. Now, this is not complete. They've been chopped off. This is for illustrative purposes. So we're seeing the party names there, and the second lot here shows you the number of people that are standing. Here are the independents there. Now, Stop Pedophiles and Protect Kiddies, it must be noted, they are the Democratic Labor Party, and so their preferences are going to go to the WA Labor Party. So that's rather important if you don't want to vote for the Labor Party. I think that name is a bit of a trap that misleads people who are genuinely concerned about satanic pedophilia, and it traps them into voting for people that are probably not going to do very much about the issue. But I digress. This is the sample ballot, and as you can see up here is the above the line, and this is below the line. So this ballot is a sample, and so it doesn't look like the ballot paper that you will see. This is the same for the Legislative Council in South Australia, and you can see they have up here, they have the name of the party, and underneath there, these are the party candidates. This is a how to vote card produced by Louise Kingston with a suggestion of how to vote below the line. This paper doesn't include the Labor Party, so remember that when you're looking at your form, you'll see all these other parties over here that are not mentioned on this paper. So the regions have been abolished, and so the upper house ballot now covers the whole state. So it's rather like the Senate. And so this is how Louise suggests you should vote. I'm not going to say who I voted for, but I will say the advantage of below the line voting means that, for example, you can vote for Louise over here, and if you've got Trump derangement syndrome and you can't vote for Trump, then you will be able to go over and pick someone else from another side. So 1, and then you might go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You might go right over here. If you know this person, you might go, I'm going to vote down here as one of your 20. And so if you see here, you can put them in any order you like. So for example, Louise has suggested that Nick Goran be put above the Liberal Party suggestion. I think Nick Goran is really cool. I think the Shooters and Fishers are great. The Libertarians are great. One Nation seems to be sometimes a bit disappointing with their candidates. This election, the Liberal Party are useful to provide preferences to, because the WA Labor Party is so dominant in the Parliament, and we need to restore balance because the legislation that's been put through by the Labor Party has real human rights concerns. If you want more information about voting, etc., then go to the West Australian Electoral Commission. And as you can see on the screen, it's only 3 days till the election. So I hope that is very clear, and I hope if you're one of our American viewers that you're not completely confused. I like below the line voting. I'm a big fan of it, and in the past I put Louise Pratt above the suggestion because I thought she was better. That was in the days before the Labor Party went far left extremist woke and went off the reservation, shall we say. This is Aussie Trump's how to vote card, and as you can see, he's got another recommended voting pattern. So he has put people on this section N above his own M category. That's an interesting thing. There are concerns that the WA Health Minister Amber Jade Sanderson has vowed to bring in regulations shutting down all private rehabilitation centres in the next 4 years if her government won a third term. According to this information, it says if we are re-elected, it will absolutely be passed in the next term of government. It's a priority. This is in relation to Shalom House. The government are not doing enough to address the meth crises, and so closing down a facility that is doing something seems to be a regressive step. Before we end this video, I'd just like to add here that if you'd like to see Freedom Media's independent guide to preference voting in the upper house, which is above the line voting, then see our video how to make your preference vote count in WA. This is designed around maximising the chances of independent and smaller minor parties so that the balance of power can be restored in the upper house. The details are on the screen. Stop Labor's war on the weekend. Protect shooting, fishing and four-wheel driving. Do the right thing for WA. Put WA Labor and the Greens last. Please like, share and subscribe. Liking and sharing really helps to mitigate against the harmful effects of censorship. Follow at James Rendell 17 on x.com. Leaving Sugar Mountain is on BitChute, Rumble, Facebook and Odyssey.com. I'd like to give a thank you to Louise Kingston for providing us with inputs for this video, and it's great to see her working to protect the rights of ordinary Western Australians. We appreciate everyone who watches our videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Please like, share, subscribe and comment.